Good afternoon, good evening. 8:22 a.m. and p.m. and every time in between. I'm glad to see everybody. I'm so excited for today. Elena, Nancy, double Nancy's, Wendy, Christian, 222. Great. Angela, Kay. Awesome. So, is anybody new here? It's their first time with me, or maybe first time with Insight Timer live, or also, and I will ask this again in a few minutes, first time hearing about Michael Singer. That will be very important to know. So, because y'all can see the title of this live, I was so excited after I heard this Michael Singer talk. I was just like, oh my God, I have to share it right now. Hi Mishi, J.E., hello, Jane and Liz. Glad to have you and everyone. So, if you are new, I'm Natalie. I'm a life coach and Reiki Master Teacher and intuitive. Good morning, Patriot Lady. Good to see you. And it is 8:30, almost, p.m. in Bali. So I live in Bali. And yes, this is the time. Hi, Anna. Ooh, yay. I'm so excited you're here. And everyone. Who is a Singer veteran besides me, if you want to call yourself that? I was calling myself a Singer slut, but then, I don't know. That just felt too politically incorrect, even for me. So, awesome, Nancy. Liz has read his books. Me too. So, I was on with a client this morning and I brought up Michael Singer and they were like, oh, yeah, I've read one of his books. And I'm like, those are great. And also his talks are another different dimension. And that's what's really lit me up for Michael Singer is hearing his talks. So I'm super excited. We are going to actually listen to this talk now in the live stream. I don't know why I haven't thought of this before, but that's okay. Perfect timing for everything. Because this one, I mean, his talks, some have been super, super impactful, and I've listened to them like 10 times. This is probably one of the top 3 where it's just like mind blown upon the first listening, and I've listened to it 2 other times in like 48 hours. So welcome, Christy. Good morning. This will be a great way to start your day. I start my day with Michael Singer a lot, listening to him while I do yoga and just drinking my morning coffee after meditation. Okay, Anna said first time hearing about Michael Singer. So he is a spiritual teacher and he's very down to earth, and one of my favorite things about him is he is in the world, but not of the world. Meaning he was very much had a very, very successful business career where he was in very traditional corporate America, and he stayed true to his spiritual principles, while being in a traditional corporate environment. And his memoir called The Surrender Experiment talks about this idea that since he was 20 and he had his first spiritual awakening moment, he has had an intention and has been very serious and has the results to prove it, that he will surrender to life and surrender to everything. And if you read his memoir, you will hear how this surrender has led him to being, I don't know, he was on the board or part owner of WebMD. I don't know how they structure huge billion-dollar companies, but he was up there. So Nancy, this is a talk on YouTube. If anybody wants the link, send me a private message, and I will send it in a private message. So yeah, it's called Give Up on the Old Way. So my intention for this, the talk is, 44 minutes. And my first thought was, well, we're just going to listen to it together and to the whole thing, but that's not how I roll, and that's not how I roll. So, I mean, y'all can go listen to it alone and, and please do if it lands. But of course we're going to stop it. Of course we're going to stop it at important moments and discuss. I would like to ask, it's not necessary, but it would maybe be helpful and cool and fun. And especially anybody that really wants to use this time for deep listening, that there be somebody willing to take notes in the chat of just whatever, a point that lands with you. You don't have to, but I like that it's an added dimension for learning, and it helps everyone, but not necessary. But if somebody feels the call, just jump on in. Welcome, seeds. Excuse me. So please follow me here on Insight Timer before we begin if you don't already and you want to. And you can join my group, Natalie's Healing Circle. We can stay in touch through there, as well as please check me out. I'm everywhere. I have a channel. All my replays are up on my YouTube channel, Facebook, Insta. So would love your support there. Check my site, my website, and all that good stuff. And yeah, and also my schedule of live streams here tomorrow, or actually it's not tomorrow for those in the Western Hemisphere, it's tonight, but it's tomorrow for me in Bali. We will be doing Conversations with God, our continuing amazing book study. We also are doing a book study on There's Nothing Wrong with You, Going Beyond Self-Hate. If you don't know that book, if the title resonates, then please join. That's all you need to know. I can send you a free PDF of that book. Send me a private message. We're also doing Reiki in the morning. So at this time on Thursdays, Reiki in the morning for many people in the West, and that's awesome. And then we're doing a Byron Katie mini series. We've done a couple episodes, and we're going to dive deeper into doing the work of Byron Katie next time. Yes, I am doing a lot. And then we have our weekly Saturday Night Live where we draw cards and do Reiki and Ancestral Clearing. So this one, I was just like so excited that I just popped it in wherever I could fit it, which was now. This is going to take longer than one session because the talk itself is 45 minutes and we're going to stop. So I kind of already know this is going to be like part one of a 2-part or maybe even 3-part on this talk specifically. So, and we'll just flow with when I can schedule that because my schedule is very busy. So, hi Rose. Anybody have any questions before we dive in? It's nighttime, so it's not, it's a window back there. So that's why. It's the same seat, but usually in the morning with the greenery behind me. So any questions? Y'all ready to dig in? And like I said, I have replays available. And y'all that know me know I love Michael Singer, and I'm very obsessed with him. So I have a feeling this might turn into a series as well. And who knows? I usually will do a Michael Singer live stream, and it's me sharing his teachings, just sharing them. So yeah, we'll see how it goes. All right. So my invitation to you is that you depending on where you're at in your moment, but if you're not like going somewhere or doing something, that you give yourself the gift of presence and attention with this information, because this is your life. The talk is called Give Up on the Old Way. If you take this in, it will change your life. So do yourself a favor and don't be scrolling elsewhere. Okay? That's an invitation, a loving invitation. So, good evening, Blossom Violet. Melinda, good morning. Okay. Tell me if the volume is too high, too low. I also do have it set at, because I usually listen at 1.25 speed. He talks pretty slow, so it should be fine. But if multiple people are like, it's too fast, let me know. So, thanks, Christian. I mean, when I play the audio now, let me know if it's too loud or not loud enough. And like I said, I'm just going to stop it when I feel called to. Y'all interact, and if somebody wants to volunteer to share nuggets they hear, and we can just vibe with this super profound teaching. One of my best friends, Alicia Bliss, fellow Insight Timer teacher, she's a singer fan as well. And I sent this to her, and she was like, and she listens to all his talks. She's like, this was profound, and it was mind blowing, and it was so powerful. So, is everybody ready? Let's dive in.
Jagged. There comes a time in your path, in your growth, in your life, where all it's about is freedom. You will reach the point where you understand nothing will ever feed your soul except the soul itself. There is nothing in this world, there is no one in this world that will ever give you what you're looking for. And that's why you have to keep looking. It's really simple. You know, you can talk about it, analyze it, write books, but it's very simple. You're not okay in there. You know what it means to be okay? Those rare moments when the sun is setting and your mind shuts up and there is not a thought in your mind and you just melt into the beauty of what you're seeing. That's what it means to be okay. How do I know? There's no one in there complaining. There's no one in there figuring out what to do. There's no one in there doing anything. What happened to them? They're okay. They're okay. You know, that's what happens. A baby cries because they're hungry. How do you know that they're fed? They stop crying. It's very simple stuff. It's not hard. Inside, you're crying. You don't realize it. You're always crying. You cry through the voice of your mind. That is your heart crying. So the voice of your crying sounds like this. Oh, well, I do. Oh, my God. If I ask her out, she might come, but if she doesn't, I'll be so embarrassed. I don't know. That's your voice of your crying. That's what it is. You're not okay. So the mind is crying out, make me okay. I need something. I'm afraid of something. Something's not right. I need to fix it. I need someone to help me. I need my finances fixed. I need this. I need that. I just am not okay, and I need to be fed. I need to get taken care of. I need to change things. I need to somehow get things in a way that I'm okay. Never happens. Never will happen. Has never, ever happened to anyone. Not the richest person. Not the most beautiful or handsome person. Not the most popular person. Not the most powerful person. No. You cannot feed your soul from out here. It doesn't make it back there. It doesn't work. The only thing you can feed from out here is your mind. And it's really easy to see that. The reason is, when the soul is not okay, which you feel through your heart, it's really your deep inner being, lost, expresses itself through the heart. When that is not okay, it turns to the mind to find out what to do. How would it know what to do? It's just a feeling. A feeling doesn't know anything. Like, feelings are helpless. That's what happens when you fall into your emotion. You become helpless, don't you? The mind, on the other hand, it has a shot at it. It's got reason, logic, past experiences. It's seen images of what it might look like. It can emulate minds. You know, it can analyze a darn thing and come up with something, okay? Mind doesn't have to lie there being jealous, or lie there being afraid, or lie there, oh. But that's all the heart can do. The heart wouldn't know. What would the heart know what to do? It doesn't know what to do. That's why it goes to the mind. Where do you go when your heart hurts? Where do you go if you're alone? To your mind. Why? So the mind can figure out what to do about it. Well, you should move to a place where there's more people, or you could do this kind of thing. It just comes up with stuff. Try something different. Buy a new car. Paint your clothes. Do your hair. Whatever. Anything. Everything. That is the mind. Because the mind has the ability to think and try things on and analyze and so on, that is where the discontentment goes. Your mind is the voice of your heart's discontentment. You know which mind I'm talking about, not the 2 + 2. That's a calculator. That one's okay, all right? Your personal mind. The one that's thinking about your life, the one that's thinking about what you need, the one that's thinking about what you like, the one that's thinking about what you don't like, all of that. Your mind is the voice of your heart and soul's discontentment, crying out. Because of that, and because the only thing the mind knows anything about is what came in through its senses. That's the fuel, the fodder that it has to work with. When you go to it and you say, what should I do? It tries to see what experiences it's had. It's trying to see what other experiences other people have told it. All the stuff that came in through the senses got stored in the mind. They become the data. And then the mind plays with it and tries to come up with something that says, if this will happen, then you'll be okay. Doesn't it say that? If you just meet the right person, if you just change the job, if you just lose some weight, if you just get some body sculpting, if you just get to go to Europe, you've never been, that will do it for sure. If you have another baby, or maybe even the first baby, okay? If people would just respect you more, if you could just get people to take you seriously, if we could just do this, then it would all be okay. That is what it's saying in there. If you just didn't have to do this, if this problem would just go away, then I'd be okay. That's what everything is saying. That proves what I'm saying. You're not okay. That's why everything is saying is, if this would happen, then I'd be okay. So the underlying discontentment goes to the mind. The mind uses the data it's received from the outside. So of course the mind's going to talk about the outside. That's the only thing it knows. And so it comes up with solutions, thinks are solutions, to what needs to change outside, what needs to happen outside. People, places, things, situations, future, past, anything. What needs to change so that you're okay? It's that simple. That's all the mind ever talks about. What needs to change so that I'm okay?
Can anyone relate to that? Does your mind ever stop? Thank you, Patriot Lady. That description, what did he say? The mind is like, the heart is crying, and that's like the mind is crying by saying, like, I need this, I need that, but it's expressing the heart's crying. Yeah. Hello, hello. Hi, Sandy, Tara, Anna. So a couple people say it's a little hard to catch the words. We can slow it down. Anyone else voting to slow it down? Or are you good? It's also kind of the recording itself, I think. And thank you for that. Hi, Lauren. I'm so excited for people that have never heard Michael Singer before, because, like, if this is your first bit of exposure, like, you're starting out like you're ready for evolution. Yeah, your friend isn't the only one. But yeah, the mind is what the voice of the heart's discontent. Yeah. The feelings don't know what to do. They're just there. So the heart goes to the mind for help. And the mind can only go outside for an answer, but there's no answer out there. So, okay, let's continue.
The problem is, since the mind, in truth, is dealing with itself outside, it created these conditions, and now it's looking for them. And so it's out there in this world dancing with itself. That has nothing to do with the heart. It doesn't. That's why so many things happen outside and they don't really fix anything. It just comes up with another thing. Now you met somebody, God, I hope he keeps his job. I don't want a deadbeat for something goes on. I hope he likes the kids, or I hope she wants to have kids. I know I just said I wanted somebody. I forgot to ask for kids. I want to have kids. I'm serious. But I hope she don't want kids. I never really want to have kids. I just want to have a relationship. And hard to find somebody who wants a serious relationship and not have kids. Like, this is where it goes. This is what it is. When you reach the point where you don't see it as this particular incident, oh yeah, it didn't work, I thought the new car would do it, yeah, you're right, make it just didn't do it, or, you know, just another relationship and that got there, or a little more finances, or whatever it is, or somebody saying they're sorry, or someone leaving you alone that was bothering you, or whatever it is, right? It doesn't do it, and you say, well, that, okay, I see, you're right, that didn't do it. No, that's not good enough. You reach the point eventually, I will not put a time frame on it, that's up to you. You reach the point eventually where you get it. It's not going to do it, but the I-P is capital. It means the process of the heart going to the mind using the data that it collected through the senses to put together potential solutions, and then going out there to try and make the world be that way. That's what's not going to work. Not any one particular thing, not any one particular aspect of it, all of it, even the stuff you haven't even tried yet. The process doesn't work. You catch on. At that point, an amazing thing happens. You look and you realize that whole thing never worked. And it never is going to work. But here I am. What am I going to do? Because I'm not okay. And you realize, I have to get out. I have to get away from the part of me that's not okay. This is the awakening of the soul, separating itself, extricating itself from the problems of the human heart. What happens when you're not so busy pushing out to try to make the solution work, which will never work. Come on, enough. How many times are you going to beat your head against the wall before you find out it doesn't help? So then what are you going to do? You realize eventually that you are the consciousness that is aware of and watching the problems of your heart. And your only way out is to pull back behind them, not to go out there and try to solve them. There is no solution to them. Your grace is not that God figures out a way to solve the problems of why you're not okay. The grace is that you're not your problems. You are the one that's experiencing your problem. No matter what problem you're having, you're the one who's having it. You're not it. You're the witness, the consciousness, the awareness of being that is aware that this discomfort, this disturbance, this not okayness is going on inside of you. You will reach a point where instead of the recognition of these problems, of this not okayness, pushing you up into the mind and then out into the world, it pushes you back into the self. Why would you want to go down there? Why would you want to involve yourself in something that there is no solution to the way you've been doing it? When in truth you can realize that there is a complete solution of the problem. Liberation. Free yourself from your attachment to the part of your being that has this problem. There is a part of your being that is not okay. You're not that part. You watch that part. You are aware of that part. You room with it, if you will. It's your roommate.
Is there anybody that doesn't get that? That you are not the part that has the problem, that you are the awareness, the presence that is observing that. Because that's a fundamental, truth that, needs to be established for this conversation. Yeah, I'm not the problem. I'm the consciousness. I'm not my problem. Did he say the breath? I didn't catch him saying the breath. He said something about a complete solution inside. He will elaborate. So, let's continue. Michael Singer in the morning. It's like morning radio.
It's sort of like this. Let's say you had a roommate and they were really a mess. I mean, like way out there. And you've done everything you can to try and help. Okay? And everything you do, no matter what you do, what you come up with, they tear it down. Well, you got a choice. You're not bound to the room. You're not bound to the roommate. There's another way out, and that is out. And that's what liberation is. You free yourself from yourself. You free yourself from yourself. Instead of sitting there saying that this thing that is insatiable and can't solve its problems in the outside world, that you are going to sit there and bind yourself to that until it's okay. The true yoga, the true depth is when you're willing to say it will never be okay, and that's okay. That's okay with me that it will never be okay. That's when it will be okay. You don't get that. You won't know that till the end. That's why I don't usually tell you that. I usually tell you, I shouldn't have said what I said. I usually tell you it'll never be okay, and that's okay. You look at me and say, really? I don't have to make it okay? You don't have to make it okay. It'll never be okay. Just be okay with the fact that it's not okay. Don't go out there and try and solve it. Don't go make big messes out of things. Let the mess stay inside. Let it spread out. Right? Bad enough is in there. Okay, don't go hand it out. Let everybody share it. I'm really having a problem, and I just feel so lonely, and I don't feel loved, and I just really appreciate you sitting there listening to me, right? Okay, very good. You feel better? Right? And you say, it did help. I do feel better. Okay, I want to see you in 2 days. Whether your loneliness went away because you had that talk. Because the answer is not a chance. It didn't solve anything. It just released some energy. You shared some energy out. When are you going to get ready for real solutions? Real solutions. Liberation, in the end, is the only solution to your problems. You all think of liberation as romantic. You know, these masters went to these high states. Don't think of it that way. Think of what it is. You're caught in there. You're in big trouble. Because you have a problem that can't be solved the way you're trying to solve it. You know that. You just don't want to admit it. You know, you've been in there. How long have you been in there? You still got problems from kindergarten. Even the psychiatrists agree with me. You got junk in there. You forget your current problems, right? When they're not bothering you, then the earlier ones do. When they're not bothering you, then the really big ones come up. You know what's really stored in there? You didn't store your problems. Your problem is that you're not okay, and you've never been okay. What you stored in there is your failures when you tried to satisfy your problem. That
I'm stopping that right there because that took a while to land. You don't store your problems. You store the failures that you tried to solve the problems with. Is that landing? Because if it worked, then there wouldn't be that shit energy inside. There wouldn't be the resistance. There wouldn't be the pain, the regret, the sadness, the fear, or the feeling of failure. We're not storing the problem. We're storing all the, like, things on top that we put on top of it to try and solve it. I'll rewind it just a few seconds. $30 seconds.
think of what it is. You're caught in there. You're in big trouble. Because you have a problem that can't be solved the way you're trying to solve it. You know that. You just don't want to admit it. You know, you've been in there. How long have you been in there? You still got problems from kindergarten. Even the psychiatrists agree with me. You got junk in there. You forget your current problems, right? When they're not bothering you, then the earlier ones do. When they're not bothering you, then the really big ones come up. You know what's really stored in there? You didn't store your problems. Your problem is that you're not okay, and you've never been okay. What you stored in there is your failures when you tried to satisfy your problem. That's what those experiences are that you stored in. They're not your problem. Your problem is that you were not okay, therefore you had these tremendous needs and attachments and clinging to people, places, and things. And when they did not behave or have circumstances that fit your needs, you got badly hurt, didn't you? You were trying to solve your core problem, and then that became a problem. That's what you're calling a problem. Your psychological problems are 3 layers out. It's your core problems, the core underlying problems that I'm not okay. And so you eventually get to the point where you realize the only solution to your real problem, which is the only solution to your problem, is your freedom. Is you must find your being, your essence, which is okay. The moment you find the essence part of you that is okay, you will never again have to deal with the part of you that isn't okay. Can it be there? Sure, it can be there. Kleenex is there, glasses are there, pianos are there, parts of you that are not okay are there. So what? Who cares? You're okay. There is a place inside of you where you are okay. You have touched it at rare moments in your life, such as when the sun is setting, you turn the corner, and like your whole mind goes by, you just overcomes you. Such as rare moments when you're at the early stages of a love relationship, they call it the honeymoon stage, where you haven't found out that he doesn't put the toilet seat down, and all the very important things that ruin it, okay? And before it got personal, it always becomes personal, doesn't it? And when it becomes personal, what happens? It becomes a problem. That which you thought was going to be a solution becomes devoured by the problem and just becomes part of the problem.
That which you thought was going to be a solution then becomes devoured by the problem and becomes part of the problem. And then that gets bigger and bigger the older and older you get, and if you don't change. So all of this trying to grasp outside for something to make us feel better just makes the problem worse, because nothing will ever work. And that's what he's trying to say, or that's what he is saying. Nothing will ever work outside. Do y'all agree with the way he's framing this? Oh, and somebody says, Elena, the talk name is give up on the old way. Yeah. Yeah. Tara said their memories are from the aftermath and emotions rather than the problem itself. Totally. And Rose, yeah, I think it's just any thought, all thought at all. Okay. Continue.
Once it becomes personal, the honeymoon's over. Because you're now using it to try to solve your problem. And I told you it doesn't work. But there are moments where it catches you by surprise. You just fall in love, something happens. And before you can figure out how to ruin it, there are moments where you sit in somebody's presence and it's like the sunset. You just melted. You're just not there. It's like, whoa. That place of well-being, what do you want to call that? Maslow called it a peak experience. Remember Maslow's hierarchy of needs, right? He had all these little hierarchy of needs, and he had ding, peak experience, right? Rare. He says some people only one in a lifetime, if any, right? You are always in there, always. That place of love, that place of peace, that place of complete harmony, complete utter contentment at all times is always inside of you, period. The only reason it only comes out at these peak moments, the beautiful sunset that overwhelms you, the love that catches you by surprise, the first time you hold your child, there's just these moments. Why? You have these peak experiences not because of the particular situation that's taking place outside. It is not because of the sunset. It is not because of the baby. It is not because of the marriage. It is because your mind gave you the grace of getting the heck out of the way during that moment. Rare as it is, it said, oh, okay, throw a dog a bone. Give her something, give him something, right? We'll shut up for a second, right? Because you'll notice during those peak experiences, there's no mind. Because while there's mind, you ain't having a peak experience. Because the mind steals the Shakti, and it pulls you down to its level. When the mind suspends, you can feel the natural energies rush up inside you from the core of your being. And that's what that deep love is, and that's what that great beauty of nature is. All right, that is always inside of you, always. Now, when you reach the point in your growth where you realize just those two things we just talked about, that's all you have to realize. That's the deepest knowledge there is. One, that is always inside of you, and the only reason you're not feeling it all the time is because of your mind. And the second is that your mind's attempt to solve the problems of the heart don't work. So it's like, which do you want? The extreme of absolute perfection, beauty works all the time and there's nothing that can fail, or that which is guaranteed to fail? It's like we're running out there using the very mind that is causing the problem to try to solve the problem. It's not going to solve the problem. It's just going to make it worse. And that's all it does. You get neurotic. I don't know what to do now. I tried this and now it's not working. I can't even think of anything and now I'm really messed up. You just went the wrong way. You went out instead of in. The solution is inside, not outside. There is no solution outside. So you reach the point when the only thing it's about is getting closer to, returning to, never leaving the deepest place you can find inside of you, and then going deeper every minute of every day. Makes sense, because we said that's the only way you're going to be okay. To be okay. You're not going to make it be okay. You can just be okay. Go to the place that's okay. Return to the source, which is okay. But there's this constant tendency, constant, to touch it again. To think that this is different, that this matters, that I can't be okay if this is this way, and I can't be okay unless this is this way. And let me just take care of this first. And once I take care of it, then I'll worry about that kind of thing. That don't work. It has to have reached the point where it says, I see it's not going to work. I don't even want to try it anymore. It's not going to work. Doesn't mean you leave the world. You get that eventually. Doesn't mean you don't get married. Doesn't mean you don't have children. It means you don't do it for that reason. You don't do it for the reason of solving the problem with the part of you that's not okay. It may happen anyways. That's fine. So don't get scared. Leave it alone for a minute. You, being an intelligent being, just don't ever forget that what you're about to do to solve your problem is not going to work. It can't, because it's just the mind dreaming up what it thinks the world needs to be for the heart to be okay. Wrong. It's wrong every single time. So I'll do it this way. There is such a place where you reach that point, where no longer is your response and reaction to your problems or your desires to go out and change things so that you'll be okay. Because you know if it's not this, it'll be something else. Isn't it? It's just endless. It will never stop. And you decide, I want to live deeper. I do not want to be like that little hamster that has to run around that little wheel. And what does it mean to live deeper? Then now you bring back, there is a place inside of me that's really beautiful where I am okay. Let me return to that. That's what I want to do. That's what you want to do on Sunday in the morning for church? No. That's what you want to do in the morning when you wake up and meditate? No. That's what I want to do with my life. This thing that you do about dreaming up your solutions and then going in and doing them, that's what you do with your life, isn't it? You've done it with your whole life. Dreamt up what you think it needs to be for you to be okay, and then go out and try and make it happen. All right? What it is you try to stop from happening, what it is you try to make happen, that's your life. This has to be your life. Liberation is something you dabble with. It's not something you get into. It's not a hobby. It's not a belief structure. It is the replacement to that other thing. It's bigger than that. It's bigger than most people can get their minds around.
Anyone else's minds blowing, which is good. Our minds need to be blown, especially according to what he's saying. Hi, Lori. A realization, Blossom Violet. Awesome. Share it, please. That's what hit me with this. It's the whole system is flawed and broken, and it will never work. It will never work to try and find something outside of me to make me feel better or change the way I feel or distract me. It's not going to be in the next thing. And then what he just said there is, this can't be a hobby that you just do when you're meditating. This can't be a Sunday church thing. He said, as often that your mind has looked outside to solve a problem is as much as you have to practice looking inside liberation. So basically, every waking moment. Because every waking moment, we're trying to solve problems with our mind. Hi, Lisa. Good morning. Glad to see you. Ooh, yeah. Who else got married to solve the problem besides Lisa and me? And it's, it's human, which he'll say that in a minute. Hi, Yvonne. This is a talk that Michael Singer has given. He gives talks multiple times a week at his home. It's not a home, it's a compound. But the talks are uploaded on his website, tou.org. And what people have done, I imagine this is where this came from. People just download those and put them on YouTube. So that's where it is. The name of it is Give Up on the Old Way. And I can send it in a private message to anybody. Thank you, Patriot Lady, for your note taking. And, if you need to go, if you're tired of it, there's no obligations. And it's appreciated. Thank you. So the crux of the thing is, and he'll say it, it takes commitment. So we'll continue.
Like I told you, if a fish is in the water, it doesn't know it's in the water. It can see, seaweed and other fish, but it can't see water because it has no frame of reference that it's ever been out of the water. And until you have a frame of reference, you can't get your mind around it. Can you get your mind around what I'm talking about? That this whole thing your mind thinks about day in and day out all the time and has been doing it forever is what I'm talking about replacing. That's the part that doesn't work. That whole process of being human. There, I said it. I mean, that's a human being, right? That's what a human being does. They use the computer gift of their mind to try to solve the problems of their heart. And they come up with some weird stuff, don't they? It's unbelievable what goes on out there, isn't it? Fine. The question is, can anyone, ever, anywheres, decide to replace that entire process of trying to solve your problem that way with a total another way, which is, I want to get behind the part of me that's not okay, not serve the part of me that's not okay. And I'm telling you, the only way out is when it's full-time. And I mean full-time. I mean exactly the amount of time that you did the other way, you do this. All the time. There's never a moment you're not out there figuring it out, manipulating it, playing your little games, wondering whether to talk or not to talk, or what should you wear, or what should you say, or should you call him back earlier or later. There's not a moment it's not doing that. You got it? There's not a moment it's not doing this. That's what it means to be on a spiritual path. You've changed direction from outside to inside. And it's 24/7 by 365 from now for the rest of your life. And it will never be otherwise. Just like this is always that way. It's never otherwise, all right? You just...
Okay. We're going to save the rest of this for next time. Then we'll be able to finish it in one live again. But basically, he's just saying 24/7, 365. However often you have been in the loop of having the mind, giving it the impossible task to solve your problems, you have to, instead of going out, you've got to go in where that, that our soul is. That blissful part of us. Yeah. Hi, Patricia. If anybody wants the link to this, send me a private message. There's no way I can find everybody, and in Insight Timer, it's difficult for me to send messages because I'm a teacher and I have a personal profile, and it's confusing. So send me a message. It's called Give Up on the Old Way. Yeah, thank you, Patriot Lady, for your notes. Thank you for all who shared. And so, yeah, please follow me if you don't already. If this is valuable for you, give a donation as well. That's appreciated as always. And I have a number of live stream series coming up. And because of my wonderfully wonderful schedule, yeah, I'm going to get to find a time to schedule the follow-up for this. If you missed some of it, I will have this replay on my YouTube. Ooh, awesome. Great, Christian. As well as all my replays are there. You can follow me there, and Facebook, Insta, all that stuff. Check me out. Hi, Janie. Yes, thank you. But yeah, who knows? I mean, this might turn into another series. Y'all know he's my jam. So is anybody a convert now that they've experienced Michael Singer, or is it a reconfirmation? Hi, Laura. You know, I was walking as I was listening to this, and it was like I had a shift in perception. I had a miracle. I had a shift in perception where I was looking at the outside world differently. Like, the mind just wants to find a solution. It's like, it's not here. It's not about what the mind is trying to solve it with. It's that it's trying to solve it at all. It's a broken system. So, now, it's very simple, the solution, and it is not easy. I've had a shit show of a day in my mind, only in my mind, not in the outside world. And even knowing this, I got lost in the shitstorm. And it's hard not to make myself wrong for that. And also, at least I see that there's the pattern that wants to come in. It takes, and he has another talk. So he has this other one on his podcast, which is on the Sounds True channel, which is like official, but it's still on YouTube. It's called Your Highest Commitment is Self-Realization. And he has another one, The Commitment to Staying Conscious. Those two. Because what it requires, you can't ever go back to sleep. Like, you can't ever go on autopilot. I mean, after a while, it becomes the new normal. And I don't think you have, according to him and I think other teachers, you don't have to put in, yeah, because he says, Singer says, after a while, you can't turn it off. Just like it's hard to turn this off. I'd much rather not be able to turn off presence and peace. Great, Lauren. Blossom Violet, yay. Janie, awesome. Great. But yeah, it requires, like, to me, that sounds like the biggest commitment of your life. Because you can't get lazy. And he has other talks about that. I was listening to another one earlier that I've heard a million times where he says, you know, say you quit smoking, which I have. And it's like, and I've quit and started back before too. You know, you get through the cravings and you want it so bad and you don't do it and you don't do it and don't do it. And then you're like, just one drag or just one cigarette. How much harder is it then to go back to not giving into the cravings after that. It's so hard. He says our thoughts are like that as well. And you can't ever, like, go back asleep, or if you quit trying, you can lose your ground. So, anyway, it's getting late. I'm going to stop talking. Has anybody else had just a shit show of a past, like, 24 hours? Or, like, longer, really? Whew. I blame it on living in Bali because it's very intense here energetically. So that's probably part of it, but not all of it. Yeah, emotions keep coming up, Nancy. It requires full we can't, like, just go into the hypnosis and back into the old patterns and just get swept away, like, basically. Because then we just get totally identified with the shit show. And then, he talks about we have a seat of consciousness. It's about establishing our seat of consciousness, the one that is observing that we are not the problem. And if you don't have that seat of consciousness established, then it's easier to get lost. So you must establish that seat of awareness. And that's when, mindfulness and meditation helps. So, see you all in like 12 hours. Something like that. So follow me and you can see my schedule and get notified of future lives. Listen to my meditations here on the app. Get in touch if you want to have a one-on-one session with me. I have many offerings at the moment, both complimentary and I do have paid offerings as well. So thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm going to go relax and see you tomorrow or tonight. Bye-bye. Thanks for joining, y'all.